Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. This is a replay of our DPI News and Notes show that we do every Tuesday over on Facebook. To see my smiling face, find us on Facebook at DPI Podcast or on YouTube at the Disney Planning Insights Podcast. Now enjoy this episode after a short ad from our friends at Anchor. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt with the DPI Podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight. Just got a text message from Peter saying he was at the school and might be able to still do the show. Yeah, I'll stall for a while. Just let me know when you're on. So it looks like we might have Mr. Salvadori with us tonight. I'm missing lights. There. That looks a little bit better. We're a little bit more blue now. Okay. So tons of news. Absolute ton of news. And we didn't get to all the news last week because we had a recap of our D23 experience. If you're saying about 20 minutes, that should be fine. I can stall news for that long. That'll be fine. I've got plenty of news to hold us over. Used. Plenty of news. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Texas Beach is not fantastic today. I'm a little bright, far away. I'm a lot of things today. Wow. All right. That's not terrible. All right. So news. We've got lots of news. So let's get to the big news. So we've been teasing a new segment on the show for a few months now. Since early summer, we've been talking about this idea of a Disney deep dive segment, and basically highlighting one ride, one restaurant, or one resort. We're going to start at Walt Disney World as we explore some of the other locations. We'll start doing some more in land and around the world as we get to those, as well as some of the cruise ships. We've got some mixed experience, so it doesn't really work out the greatest right now outside of World, but a lot of us have been to everything at World, so we've got plenty that we can talk about there. But we're going to call it the DPI Deep Dive, and it's going to work similar to the way that the top 3 works right now, where we are going to randomly draw a category, randomly draw a location, and we are going to give you kind of the rundown of, what it is, where it is, where it would rank in our Genie Plus priorities, our opinions of the area, the ride, the resort, the restaurant, favorite dishes if it's a restaurant, that kind of stuff. And we're going to go through all of those, and we hope it to be a 5 to 10 minute segment. And some of the stuff, some of our favorites may run into like the 15-20 minute long, like the top 3 does. And that would give us a good 45 minute to hour full show that we could break down into the full show, and then the top 3, and then the Disney deep dive. So really cool. I have got the intro done now. and we're going to share it with you guys tonight. So check this out. And so the deep dive isn't going to start right now. That was just the tease, but we are looking to start Disney Deep Dive on October the 3rd. So here in a couple of weeks, sounds like a good time to get it going. And it's going to be a ton of fun. We've got a lot of knowledge when it comes to the parks, and very opinionated, not always in lockstep with one another when it comes to some of these locations. So you're going to get some interesting points of view and some interesting opinions when we talk about some of these things. So definitely going to be something that you want to check out. Again, starting October the 3rd. Getting into the news, we've got a lot of news. Like I said, we've got about 2 weeks worth of news. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that 15-minute timer, but we're going to run the news until Peter gets his side of the setup up and running. So let's go ahead and let's get into a solo news segment. And of course you didn't hear that at all. So that was great. So we've got a lot going on in the news, like I said. Let me pull up my little newser radar here, and we'll get going. I'm going to go back a couple of weeks because, like I said, we have a couple weeks worth of news to get through while I'm getting back to where I feel like the beginning of this should be. I'll let you know that we do have our walkthrough of Moana, our Journey of Water inspired by Moana, posted on YouTube. You can go over and check that out. A lot of fun walking through that. It was a very interesting walkthrough. Really, YouTube? Okay, YouTube's saying that it's not receiving enough. If you're buffering, I'm sorry. YouTube's being ridiculous right now, I guess. I don't know. My stream health is good. My analytics are good. YouTube's just being difficult. But we did post the walkthrough of Journey of Water. It is going to be busy. And it's going to be wet. And if you're okay with your kids being busy and wet, you're going to love it. If you are not okay with your kids being busy or wet, you could have a problem with it. There are ways to walk through it and enjoy it without getting absolutely soaked, but more than likely you're going to get wet. So I went entirely too far. So let's start out with some sellouts right now. Not So Scary selling out into October now. Not surprising. We enjoyed Not So Scary this year. It was back to what we would consider normal. One hiccup during our Not So Scary, we had a parade float breakdown, which is interesting. You'll get to see that in our version of the parade, which we'll have up in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we have a float breakdown, and it basically halts the parade for like 7.5 minutes. Nobody gets through. They can't get it off Main Street. It's like right in the middle of Main Street, USA. It was not the best location to break down in the world. But they got it at least off to the side. The rest of the parade actually has to go around it on Main Street. I mean, it's interesting. But we've got it all on tape, and you'll get to see it in our version of the Boo to You parade. Fireworks were good. Stage show. I was kind of with Shannon that it just didn't hold my attention this year. We're not huge Halloween people to begin with, but it just felt like a drug on and on and on and on and on, and just I was like, okay, is this ever going to be over? And everything was running late, of course, because of the issue with the parade. Fireworks were good. Had some camera issues with the fireworks. We'll see if we can piece together a show for you. I think we can. And we'll see if we can't get that out in the next couple of weeks. Right now, my priorities, definitely getting out reaction to D23 stuff. We're going to do a whole food and wine episode. We had a ton to eat at food and wine, and then work on the not so scary stuff. So opening night for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is sold out, and again, not a big surprise. That is normally where you'll get a lot of the media that isn't invited media. So a lot of your mainstream and secondary stream vloggers, people that can't do the media event for any reasons, that kind of stuff. Usually that's a relatively busy one. That's one that Shannon and I end up at quite often, because that's right around our anniversary. So when we go down there for our anniversary, which we try and do every couple of years or so, we end up at that either opening night or the second night of Very Merry. And it's usually pretty busy. Let's jump over to Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris last week had a huge announcement about the Disneyland Paris Hotel. It is going to reopen on January the 25th. This place is going to be amazing. At various times throughout the day, it sounds like they're going to have 4 character meals in the location. And not only that, you walk into like Belle's library as the lobby, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Some of the suites are like 13,000 euro a night. It's like, okay, that's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's probably one of the best hotels on any Disney property worldwide. I'll say it. It's got rooms that overlook Disneyland Park. It basically forms the main gate of Disneyland Park. Like I said, you're going to have multiple character meals within the location, not just, one restaurant offering character meals. I think there's 4 character meals over 3 restaurants throughout the day, which is awesome. Disneyland World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland shared a video as the location transforms from day to night. This is going to officially open on November the 20th of this year. So you're going to have a huge World of Frozen opening in Hong Kong. You're going to have a huge World of Frozen opening in Paris next year. Lots going on. Probably my favorite news of the last couple of weeks is Disney World granted permanent extension for projects related to Reflections. So Reflections was the lakeside lodge that was going to go on the old River Country site out in that body of water on the back side of the Contemporary. A lot of people didn't like the design of this, and to me, the design doesn't mean a whole lot, because it's kind of going to be in a modern contemporary area, having that, having the Contemporary there and with an eye shot. This is going to be something that will hold some kind of architectural homage to it, but no, I'd love to see that project. I love seeing new hotels go up. I was a big fan when Riviera opened. We got to stay there relatively soon after it opened. I like to see new hotels. It just means that they're attracting new people. It gives more people opportunities at DVC, that kind of stuff. So, kind of cool. Um, Disneyland Forward proposal. Now, let me preface this section of the show. So, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, myself, went to D23. We did the parks panel. We weren't super impressed with the parks panel. I'm going to try and open up another stream here and see if this will help my output. Should be okay. All right. So we do the parks panel. We're super underimpressed with the parks panel. Just not a whole lot of new news. Very little changes to the Blue Sky projects. Blah 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 blah. Just wasn't a great parks panel. We get home, and what do we get the week that we get home? We get tomorrow talking about, well, the Disneyland Forward proposal. And some of the permits that were filed and some of the exploratory information that was filed with the city of Anaheim. And a few things jumped out at me. One of the things was there was a labeled drawing, and I take it with a grain of salt because it was online and who knows what actually was sent to the city of Anaheim. But the proposal had more than 10 rides on it, like an expansion of over 10 rides. Now, on top of that, Disneyland Forward proposal, the report mentions Disneyland Drive pedestrian crossings. Possibilities include downtown Disney type pedestrian bridge or even themed ride crossings. And in the supporting documentation that they gave a picture of the People Mover and a picture of the Skyliner. Excuse me. So could they be thinking of a crossing into a new land using a ride device? Looks like it's in the possibilities. Also, got news today that Disney will spend $60 billion over the next 10 years to expand and enhance its domestic and international parks and cruise line capacity, nearly twice the amount spent in the previous 10-year period. Okay. So what has the last 10 years given the parks? Okay. So let's go back to 2012 to be safe. But I think you could even move that to 2013. But Cars Land, New Fantasyland in 2012. Seven Doors Mine Train in 14. Pandora, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in 17. What is this? Go bigger, bigger, bigger. Where'd you go? I don't know which you go there. Okay. You, come here. Toy Story Land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Pixar Pier in 18 and 19. Avengers Campus, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in 21. Tron, Runaway Railway in Land and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, Runaway Railway at World opened in this period as well. Both Star Wars opened in this time. You got Mickey's Toontown that opened in this time. So it's crazy to think that is half of what they're planning on spending in the next 10 years. So, what should we be looking for as fans when it comes to the next 10 years? And I think that's where this kind of has me excited. Is this is going to be a pretty big time. Now, granted, you've got to build in construction costs, which are absolutely through the roof right now. But I still think you're looking at Disneyland Forward expansion. Do they pack the Fantasy Gate expansion at Shanghai or Tokyo Sea, World of Frozen at Hong Kong, World of Frozen in Paris, and all those expansions, do those go into that $60 billion kitty? Does Journey of Water, does Connections, does the big new expansion of the middle of Epcot, does that go into the $60 billion? But still, there's a lot of money. $60 billion is a lot of money. And they need to figure out how to stop Disney Plus from being an absolute nightmare for them, so that they can actually utilize $60 billion. A couple of other things. The headline news on the show tonight is that half of Magic Kingdom was shut down yesterday. Apparently, they were holding auditions for the live-action Country Bears show that's coming next year, and forgot to tell cast members. So there was a black bear in one of the offstage areas up in a tree. They had to tranquilize and remove from the premises before they could open the areas out behind Tom Sawyer Island. And then they released it this morning out into one of the national forests. And last but not least, and Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel just joined, so this is a good one to transition him in on. But Disney released huge discounts this morning for World, and basically up to 35% on most stays Sunday through Thursday nights, January 9th through February 22nd, and most nights February 25th through March 24th. That is all the way through spring break. And to talk to us a little bit more about this, let's bring on Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Oh, how about I get you on there? That was a great transition. And then, where are you at? Turn off incoming video. I don't have... Where... I can't see you.
I see me.
I see you now. There you are. All right. With your Ahsoka ears on, with the tags still attached and everything.
Well, yeah, just in case I want to resell them.
Yeah. One of those people.
Yeah. So not one of those people.
Yeah, so big discounts at World released today. So they broke it down, and it's your normal like 25 or 35, 25, 20 discounts. But one thing that jumped out to me is Art of Animation. The suites were in the 30% range, which was kind of nice. And this is going to be, they broke it down into a lot of different things. So it's Disney Visa card holders and annual pass holders and Florida residents and all kinds of different groups are able to get these. So yeah, it was a real big post, and it's for a relatively busy time of year. And we've seen this, as we go through the holidays, like this Florida resident ticket offer that's $59 per day. You can go to Magic Kingdom on Thanksgiving for $59 if you're a Florida resident. because there are no blackout dates on that. So, what are you seeing on the travel side that's really leading to this?
I mean, it's you and I were just there last week, and if it weren't for D23 being there, like you and I commented numerous times that the parks were very, very slow.
Yeah.
Now, granted, September you kind of expect to be a relatively slow time, but I mean, this is just a fill the rooms type of thing, right? Get yourself closer to occupancy. Make sure that, right now it's September, so we're in the final quarter. We're heading into almost the final quarter of the year. So, Disney wants to see that first quarter of next year booked up. Now, to that end, I have been booking quite a few clients recently, and I am sticker shocked at the prices that I'm saying for some of these things. You mentioned them putting art of animation into the 30% category, the suites, not the Little Mermaid rooms. But that makes sense because an art of animation suite is coming off at the same price as like a standard contemporary room right now.
Yeah.
Pop is coming, a Pop Century standard room is coming off at $30 cheaper than a fifth sleeper at Caribbean.
Yeah, it's weird on the value side where those prices have gone. Now, the All-Stars really haven't been...
All-Stars are still sitting at $200, right? Like, the All-Stars are still sitting at $200 a night rooms, but Pop is at $300 a night through spring break time of year.
Yeah.
And I get it, it's the Skyliner, but I mean, Pop is a wonderful resort. That's where you and I just stayed. It's my favorite kind of going on the value side of things. But Pop is not Port Orleans Riverside, and Pop is not Caribbean Beach.
No.
And to price it up there is doing a disservice to Pop for what it's supposed to be, and it's also doing a disservice to those intermediate resorts. Because, the feel at Port Orleans Riverside and the feel at Pop are not the same thing. But Correct. You're going to put them at only $30 more a night. I just don't know what's going on there. But again, in terms of the deals, this is maybe a month early from when I would expect those deals to release anyway. So they're just making sure quarter one, heading into the new year, as you were just talking about with all of the construction projects finishing. I mean, let's be honest, in the Disney company, the most profitable aspect of the company right now is the parks division.
Yes.
So let's make sure that heading into quarter one of 2024, that, and as we're working towards closing out our fiscal year, right, as a company, let's make sure that we've got it booked.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, Now, one thing is with the bounce back offers. Now, we had just booked a bounce back offer, and it is one thing that I like to continually tell people because it used to be like this well-known secret on how to do it. But now it's really easy because you can do it at any point up to 7 days after you leave, and you can do it through your travel agent as well. So, it was real simple. Reached out to Peter. He got our bounce back set up for us, and we're actually at Port Orleans Riverside next year. And that bounce back with the discount came in cheaper than a standard room at Pop.
It did,
So definitely want to take advantage of all of those discounts that are available when you can get them. So, Peter, anything that you've seen in the last couple of weeks? I know we didn't do a ton of news last week because we were really trying to hold on to D23 and get all that information out. Is there anything that you've seen that's really caught your attention?
No, outside of the cruise sailings for the new treasure, slowly coming online. Like general people starting tomorrow can book. So anybody onto the cruises in the treasure, up until today, it was just for the Castaway Key members. But starting tomorrow, the general public can book the cruises for the Disney Treasure next year if you are interested in doing that. Um, yeah, that's really it on the travel side of things. Outside of from D23, like I have never been more excited or more motivated is the better word. I have never been more motivated to start trying to go to the overseas parks.
Yes.
There's just so much being added in to an already pretty solid park. They are really making basically every overseas park at least to the level of what Disneyland is, where before perhaps they weren't quite there. They're really trying. It looks like they're making a concerted effort to make all of those campuses kind of Disneyland or more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, so that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we're talking about our Asia trip here coming up in the next few years, and with Frozen in Hong Kong and the Fantasy Port in Tokyo Sea, two huge expansions to those parks here opening up in the next couple of years that are going to be absolutely phenomenal. So, and there's still the project yet to be determined in Paris because they kind of put the nix on their Galaxy's Edge, and nobody knows what's going to go in that big space that they've got available there yet. So yeah, still lots going on. Disneyland Forward still is a huge possibility. Blue Sky projects at World. There's a lot of places where that $60 billion is going to be used. So, all right, you ready for some top three? Ooh.
I think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit the button then. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. The very neglected and never duplicated. Oh, Disney top three. But I told you last week that we were going to cheat on this one.
Yeah, and then I completely forgot to think about it because I've been so swamped that it's going to be a legitimate one anyway.
Yeah, because I didn't think about it either. So, because I haven't been feeling the greatest, and yeah, I just remembered that we were going to do.
Maybe we just pull a random one and we do that.
All right. So this week we are going to do our top three takeaways, our top three favorite takeaways from Destination D23. Whether it be something in the panels, whether it be something we got as a freebie, whether it's an experience that we were able to do. Top three things that we took away from D23. You've got 20 seconds.
Do you want to go to Disney? Contact me at Princess of the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you on your amazing itineraries.
All right, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and let you go first. Our number one's going to be shared.
Yeah, it's a joint number one. Like we didn't even talk about this during the break, but it is a joint number one. So I will try to come up with three things, and you come up with three things, and then we'll do like a cherry on top, creme de la creme.
Number one. That sounds good. Yeah. That sounds good.
Then so we'll have seven because we both know what our top is for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start with number three.
Okay.
So during Sunday morning, while they were doing the studio update, kind of giving us all of the rundown of what's kind of coming in terms of movie planning and all the different avenues of Disney production, in the crowd, you had to be sitting there to get
Ahsoka ears.
Ahsoka ears. So that is going to be my number 3. I thought it was really clever and creative because I think when we do the not top 3, we might have a joint not top 3 number 1 as well. I really appreciated how, hey, I'm sitting here and it was like a must be present to win situation, right?
Yeah.
Like if you weren't sitting here, you don't get this. So they handed these out live. It was really cool. It was very streamlined. They had just bags and bags and bags of Ahsoka ears, and they basically handed them out to the left side of the room, said, take one, pass it along, and it just worked its way along the rows, and then their cast members got to the far right side of the room, picked the bags back up, and wheeled the carts right back out. They had these big old, like, airport luggage carts full of Ahsoka ear bags. So I'm just going to go with that for my number 3 because we had thought about buying these for numerous trips. And so it was really nice to just all of a sudden go, I just got that. That's awesome. So that's going to be my number 3.
All right. My number 3, I'm going to go with the shopping experience. I think we both didn't necessarily know what we were getting ourselves into on that advanced shopping experience. And we ended up with some really cool stuff. I have my 70 years of Disney animation Corksicle bottle here. We got a bunch of stuff from the company store. We got a bunch of cool items associated with D23 from the company store.
Yeah, I showed that bag last week.
Yeah. I got my daughter a really cool golf towel. You got the same golf towel that was basically 100 characters in the Nemo style of animation. So yeah, just a really cool shopping experience, and they extended it throughout the weekend for anybody that had a credential for D23. But if you were a D23 member, or if you were a DVC or AP holder, you had the chance to do a shopping spree on Sunday as well, which was really cool. So
yeah, that was a good experience since you just kind of took that whole experience as one of them. Yeah, I really liked going into the company store, especially. That was really cool. So just to kind of add on to the idea of shopping.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's get to our number 2. Peter, before we get to our number 2, where can people find you?
Hold on, I got to give my daughter a hug. She just got home.
Hey, Addie.
Hi.
Oh, you want them? That's fine. I'm done talking about them. You can have them. All right. So mostly over on Facebook is the best place to make the first contact. Just get a hold of me at Princess and the Mouse Disney Travel. We'll talk back and forth, and then if things are looking kind of good, we'll schedule a phone call. We'll sit down. We'll talk it all out, and hopefully get something on the books. As I was just kind of saying, first quarter of 2024 is kind of on the books right now. So we want to be getting those things booked, getting those locked in, and start having those vacations take shape. But of course, you can book through all of 2024, not just the first quarter. But that's obviously a big focus right now. If you're looking to swing down for, fall break or that winter Christmas time, still plenty of rooms available. I was actually just the other day pretty excited about 2 rooms that I was able to get for family going down. Couple of adult kids and a sister and a couple, and we were able to get them 2 rooms at a pretty good rate. So good stuff out there. So, anyway, so my number 2, I really just got to my number 3. So, and then my daughter got home and distracted me. So my number 2, I'm going to go and hone in on the Marvel panel.
Okay.
So this is outside of them just updating us on Marvel attractions or Marvel shows and stuff. They told us about plans for Loki and other stuff like that. But there was a separate Marvel panel, and I really enjoyed. So it was C.B. Cebulski, who is like basically the head of Marvel Comics, and he basically laid out the history of the Avengers, which I don't know. I just kind of geeked out at that whole thing, just kind of sitting there listening to all of it. Was really cool. Talking about how from the very first Avengers was basically Stan Lee got together and said, hey man, we've got printer time booked in a week, and our other comic, which was going to be Deadpool, the first
Daredevil.
Daredevil. No, it's Deadpool.
Daredevil.
Okay, either one. Yeah. Sure. So anyway, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to make it to print on time. The writers and animators were having a difficult time getting the story wrapped up. And so he literally just had this brainchild and said, hey, what if we just throw a bunch of already created superheroes together and we'll just make Loki the bad guy? And so they threw together a comic in a week, and that was the birth of the Avengers. And it sold so well that they went, well, we got to keep doing this. And ultimately kind of like listening to the team change and then talking about kind of the introduction of female characters into it. And then ultimately you move yourself forward in the Marvel franchise to now, like the Marvels is coming out next year, and it's legitimately 3 different versions of, Captain Marvel, because you've got the Rambo and the original, and then you've got Miss Marvel, and so it's just going to be really cool. So I really enjoyed that, just as a Marvel fan, as a comic book fan. Now I'm not. I've got a buddy who's a way bigger comic book fan, but I really just enjoyed that panel. So I'm going to go with that for my number 2.
There you go. My number 2. I'm going to go with in the parks panel. The Muppets made appearances, and
that was fun. Yeah.
Most of the Muppets made an appearance, and they were not only in like pre-recorded video shorts, but they were actually live on the stage. And I've really never seen them utilize the Muppets live before. You always see them, even when they're on TV, they're cut at the right spot to where you don't see the actual puppeteer. On the stage, you could see the puppeteer, and they're on these really cool like rollies, and they're mic'd up, and they're wearing all black, and they come rolling out on stage, and all of a sudden you've got, Gonzo and Sam Eagle and Bunsen and all kinds of different characters out there, and they were celebrating the creator of Gonzo, but a lot of different characters made their way into the parks panel discussion in different ways, which was really a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, go back and watch the live stream. There's a lot of channels that have reposted it. Go back and watch the live stream, because there are a lot of cool interactions. I mean, they're talking about the new Country Bear Jamboree, and their resident bear expert is Fozzie Bear, and here he comes out telling bear jokes, and I mean, it was really, really cool, and it was just one of those moments that you don't get anywhere but one of these events that I thought was really cool. So my number 2, it was the integration of the Muppets cast as part of the parks panel. All right, so let's get to our number ones that aren't our joint number 1.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
it really is. My number 1 moment where I just sort of like, I got excited, really, really excited. Besides the, hey, look what's opening, that made me go, oh my gosh, I have to start getting overseas. My number 1, now again, this is just Blue Sky, but my number 1 is the updated Blue Sky of Animal Kingdom. So,
yes.
They painted a picture. They had some concept art. That whole Dino World area that we were thinking maybe we'd get like a Tokyo Disney carbon copy of the Zootopia area, or a somewhat different Zootopia land, scrapped. And I know we talked about this a little bit last show because we really talked about D23, But my number one is I cannot begin to tell you how much I hope the blue sky of Animal Kingdom becomes a reality.
Yes.
I've always kind of not disliked, but just sort of disconnected from the Dino World area. Why do we have Carnival Midway games in Disney World? The Primeval Whirl was just a cheap little carnival ride. The Triceratops Spin, again, I could literally go to a carnival in a mall parking lot and ride something very similar. And Dinosaur as a ride just felt cheap. Like, too much in the dark, too little, like, just relying on herky-jerky motions to make an experience. And it wasn't very immersive. Like, Indiana Jones does that same herky-jerky stuff, but holy cow, that set in Disneyland that you ride through is just wild. So the blue sky is that they're going to rip out that area and they're going to put in a Tropical Americas, and I just cannot be more thrilled to hope that this comes to fruition and that by next year we're ripping things out and leveling Dino Land and starting to break ground, and by like 26, 27, I can go into Tropical Americas, because a third nature trail would be amazing. 2 or 3 more attractions, put Indiana Jones, give me some type of an Encanto,
fly through.
Yeah, give me something. Yeah. In that same idea, because you're doing Tropical Americas, you could always give me like an Alebrije flight, similar to Flight of Passage, but different enough. Give me a slow water ride. Yeah, we already got Navi River Journey, but this could be completely different enough. But whatever it is, give me a couple more attractions. Give me another jungle walkthrough, and give me more nature conservation facts. Give me more Wilderness Explorer stands. Like, Animal Kingdom could really use that.
And Animal Kingdom was always one of those parks where the mythical beasts aspect of that was really hard to explain, and they tried to do it with Pandora. They've done it with Creatures of the Past with Dino Land. But when you look at what makes Animal Kingdom shine, it's Africa and it's Asia. And it's the immersion in those cultures that you get in those areas without knowing it. So, getting a Central Americas, and really when we're talking about Tropical Americas, we're talking about like south of Mexico to that northern part of South America, where you get that, Brazil area and that kind of stuff. So, no, really, really, really looking forward to that if that came to fruition.
The bear is no longer in Magic Kingdom.
My favorite one is the one where he's in the Doom buggy.
Yeah, I like that one.
So, yeah. All right, so my number one, you really left my number one really wide open, because I had a couple and I was like, depending on where you went with your number one, I had a couple in mind for my number one. I'm going to use one of the ones that I thought for my number one favorite things that I took away, at least make it a least favorite thing, and I'm going to go with, we got an exclusive walkthrough of Journey of Water inspired by Moana. And I said earlier in the show that it's already up on our YouTube channel. Go over and check it out. It is really a cool area. It is what you would expect a walk-through Epcot attraction to be. There's conservation facts. There's a storyline. It's told well. The set pieces are wonderful. And there's a little bit of that unexpected flair to it that really makes it a lot of fun. And I'm not going to give away everything. You can watch the video if you want to see everything, but we still don't show everything that happens within that area. But each little station has 4 or 5 different interactive pieces. Some of them go up to like 8 or 10. It's going to suck hundreds of people out of main thoroughfares all the time throughout the day. I mean, it's going to be a good piece in the middle of the park.
It really ties world nature. Like, it is the missing piece of world nature.
Yeah.
So now you have the Seas Pavilion that celebrates the oceans. You have the Land Pavilion that, like, Soarin' is great, but the main thing at Land is the living with the land, where it talks about agriculture and human and interactions. And now you've got water, and it really does tie that whole world nature theme together. Sorry, keep going.
So we got an exclusive walkthrough as part of the D23 thing. We were actually one of the first groups to go through. We hustled over there. We got into that line and walked through it, and there was barely anybody in there. It was a ton of fun. We got to play with all the little pieces of it. Disney 100 ears.
My daughter took my Ahsoka.
Oh.
Anyway.
But no, a lot of fun. So my number one was that experience. But there were a lot of cool things. The Epcot After Hours event was really cool. We didn't stay around for the ride times, but there were some unique characters that were there. It was the first time that you could actually meet and greet Figment. And even in that event, there was a 2.5 hour line as soon as we walked in. And we walked in at like 9:20. So it was crazy, the excitement for the Figment meet and greet. So really good time. So let's get to our bonus number one, because far and away, and I think anybody that talks about D23, if this wasn't their number one, they don't have a soul.
Well, they also didn't get Ahsoka ears. If they don't say this, ask them to show you their Ahsoka ears, because if they don't show you their Ahsoka ears, then that's why they weren't here for this.
Yeah. So our joint number one is a short that we're speculating is going to be released on the 100th anniversary of Disney Animation Studios, which is October 16th. And it's called Once Upon a Studio. It was an absolutely wonderful, 10 minutes of our time? If it was that.
It was about a 10-minute short.
Yeah. And basically it paid respect to every style of animation throughout the years. And it was just a beautiful piece of art.
It is indescribable.
It is.
Without spoiling, because I would hate to spoil a single thing, it is indescribable. Is just the easiest way to put it.
It's perfectly drawn. It's perfectly timed. Everything that should happen in it does. It was just awesome. Yep. And the two producers that did it, they announce it, we watch it, we cry over it, they come back out on stage, they're crying, give a 5-minute standing ovation. I mean, it was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Yep. It's remarkable. It really is. It is. It's fun. It's funny. It's light. It's inspiring, and then it's also very like respectful and somber, and then it's upbeat and positive, and you can do anything, and it's just a roller coaster emotional ride awaits you. You will have to get all your Inside Out buddies together.
Yes. They'll
all be standing at the controls pushing buttons.
You will need all of them, because it was that good, and I don't know if we sat here and talked about it for the next 10 minutes, we could do it enough justice of how good it really was to see it and to experience that the way that we did in the group that we did. It was just a really, really, really awesome thing. So watch for it on Disney Plus. Watch for it in front of. I wonder if they bring it out in front of the Wish. In front of Wish. That would make a lot of sense too. So.
Oh, in the theater?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just watch for it. Once Upon a Studio. No, it was absolutely
I was like, what
awesome.
would they do with it on the cruise ship?
Yeah.
Oh, the movie Wish.
Yeah. Side note: Have you seen Elemental yet?
Yeah, we watched it over the weekend.
Yeah.
I was.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it was. I get why, because they were raving about, right, at D23, they were raving about, oh, it just kept sticking around in the theaters because we had no reason to pull it because it kept making money, and so we kept just letting it sit in the theaters. And I get it. We've watched it. We've watched it twice, and I think it's been on 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah. 26.4 million views. Absolutely destroyed Little Mermaid for
It's
most
pretty
views.
solid.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, though, I did not see Elemental in the theater, but my family, my daughter, saw Little Mermaid 3 times in the theater. So,
we didn't see it in the theater, and when the kids saw it on Disney Plus, it wasn't a huge deal for them to watch it.
Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Oh, I really like it. I think they did a really great job with it.
So.
Yeah. Scuttlebutt has got to be like one of my favorite. Like, you talk about every live action and a song that's now there that wasn't there in the animated. Scuttlebutt has got to be one of the top. Aquafina, you silly goose.
All right. Well, that is top 3 for tonight. If you like the show, definitely hit the like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't yet, and share it to your friends. Let them see it. Let them see what they're missing out on. We have a ton of fun doing this. We'd love to have you guys involved. If you want to drop an idea for a top 3, do it in the chat, do it in the comments. Hit us up on Facebook Messenger, something like that, and just let us know. You got an idea for a top 3. We brainstormed 40 something on the airplane down there. So
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got an hour or a year worth of content coming at you, at least on the top 3. And then I released earlier on the show, I haven't really talked to you about it, but DPI Deep Dive, October the 3rd, 2 weeks from today, is when we're going to premiere that. So
Good choice when I'm completely done with golf season. Smart man.
just make sure that you guys don't do your awards banquet on a Tuesday like you do on boys golf.
I think it's a Wednesday.
So a couple weeks. I've got basically everything done on it. Just finished up the final version of the intro. Shared that tonight. So no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But no, thanks for joining us. Definitely want to check us out over on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube if you're not watching us on YouTube, and we post these as audio only on the Anchor platforms, which kind of get distributed everywhere else. So again, thanks for watching tonight. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse joined us for a top 3 segment tonight, and a little bit of travel talk. Definitely want to check that out. Check out the full episode of the show. If If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the podcast part of the program, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. Over on Twitter, that's where we do most of our interactions. It's going to be at Disney Insights. And then, of course, we have the YouTube channel and the Instagram channel. Thank you guys for watching, listening, liking, sharing, all the things that you do to help us gain traction. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will